Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ball. What up, Grammy? Yeah, I don't really have a video game for reference for this week because I could come up with one because I don't really know that much about this. But in any case, salutations, searching for Rinoa here with the third episode of Rinoa Reviews Video Power. Big ups to Retro Tunes for YouTube for the showcase, otherwise this review would not exist. Check back on episode 1 of what Video Power exactly is and it entails. Last episode, my annotations mentioned the highs of the 90s crackhead energy starting to peter out and giving way to cringe and even a little repetition, where 2 episodes of Video Power had just water as a thing for our heroes to overcome, and 2 episodes of one person guarding or manning a station or workplace that Mr. Big could easily take over. Going into this, hoping for the best, honestly, for these next 5 episodes. As for Johnny live action, it's World Series week, hence the title. Episode 11, Deaf Ears, showcases a neighbor friend of Johnny's, a little freckle-faced girl called Jennifer Gordon. She wants to go to school like normal kids. She's like, oh, Johnny, I heard it's so much fun. And he's like, well, it can be kind of a hassle sometimes. So, yeah, grass is always greener kind of conversation. But, yeah, she is deaf, so she's homeschooled. And I guess somehow that's a thing for some kids to just pick on her. And it's this constant feeling now, apparently. Then now she feels like, I'm going to run away from home. I'm like, your mom seemed like a cool person. I don't know, if she was like teaching you, like, what are you going to do? Oh no. Like, wow, this, once again, escalating quickly. We got to get our players in place. But, man, that hasn't changed at all. From point A to point C, like, skip, or D even, like, skipping over a couple steps. Like, she didn't even have an argument with her mom. She didn't even speak to her. And she's already, like, already running away, but apparently it's like a constant thing, and she's just like, maybe she just feels guilty. She doesn't want to put her mom through anymore or something like that. It's never a cool thing. It's never good just to have that sort of thing happen. But she can read lips and is able to. She's deaf, but she probably like makes for like really good eyesight because she's like far enough away to like see Mr. Big planting his next Cooper. She like trips over a trash can and she runs away. She's like, oh no, and they chase her down. Johnny's mom tells Jennifer's mom, calls Johnny. She's like, have you seen my daughter? She's not here. I hope nothing's going wrong. And Johnny's like, okay, hey, power team, go to. So in the upcoming battle, Bigfoot zaps a banana-shaped billboard to fall on Mr. Big and Crony's. Big's like, hey, Joe, banana, you want to eat? And Joe's like, oh, I love bananas. Hum, yum, 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 yum. He just scarfs down on the whole thing like a rice cake and escapes the power team that way. Jenny, by the way, has fallen. She falls over a tree and maybe she just doesn't have that good. I'd say she's 0 for 2 on like trying to just maneuver about. So it's like, oh no, maybe this is why I'm homeschooled. Oh no. She falls in, and now she's down in the sewer. She's like, oh no. Yeah, somehow that happened. I guess it was like a drainage pipe, and yeah, now she's fallen into the sewers. So already after this, she's just done and already like, please, someone come find me, like huddled in the corner, like knees up, like, knees up, head down, arms folded, that sort of stance. It's just like, I'm done with everything. Someone just find me. She sees a flashlight, and I'm like, oh, who's it gonna be? Thankfully, it's the power team that finds her first, and some quick thinking undoes Mr. Big's attempts. After that, they Max Force radios in. Johnny is like, okay, we saved her. And safe and sound, she's like, Jennifer tells Johnny, I read Mr. Big's lips when I was running. The baddies are planning on hitting an armory, and that happens later tonight. So the team can foil that as well. And they do. Gotta say, Johnny live action actually impressed me this one. It is back on the Echo mic, but now it's actually fitting because, again, it's baseball-related. A review of Bases Loaded 2 for the NES. He gets into the game having biorhythms for the players, showcasing when you should let them play and when to bench them. He actually talks up the game in a way that's more foundation and less fluff, like an actual review. I mean, they do the two Johnny's bit again, but they don't come to blows this time somehow, so maybe there's some hope for this segment yet. Also, a quick preview of Gauntlet 2 for the NES. And here's where I get this thumbnail here, episode 12, Back to the Game World. Quirks, to be exact, as a female tomato is getting chased by some villainous veggies through the quirk levels with all the block pushing and selectful turnstile blocks, turning like in the actual game. Her name is Tammy Tomato. I thought she was an original character for the show until I looked it up on the article Wikipedia for Quirk. But I'm pretty sure she's the only one. It lists other characters, but most of them are like original. So, and there was never like any like animals chasing or anything like that. You had to like change characters when you did puzzles from time to time, because sometimes it would take like 2 characters, sometimes it would take 3, and you would like hit a button to like switch between and just puzzle it out. That's what I remember, because I owned that for the classic Game Boy. A lot of fun. Lots of fun times with that game. Never got so far as like the medium or like hard difficulty. I was still probably wouldn't be able to now, but yeah, Quirk. I'd recommend it. I just don't ever think there was another tomato, but then I remembered like playing through. It was like, oh, there's like a congratulations screen, and I guess there's like a female tomato in that. And I'm like, okay, that's probably Tammy. But yeah, Tammy's like, help, Quirk, come back, or whatever, while she's being chased. And it turns out to be a dream, but also not one, because Quirk wakes up from like napping and he's like, oh no, Tammy! Quirk's insisting it's not a dream and the real Tammy is in danger. There's some continuity for Bigfoot winning a tournament back for the monster truck pull and all that stuff. So he's out here again just to put on an exhibition, and that's their lure for Mr. Big. He's like, okay, we're going to get their game cartridge so we can zap you in to the world and make sure we actually get the cartridge to zap you out as well. And we got Mr. Big driving burnt rubber. A non-talkative version. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't trust a whole lot of outside sources. Still steamed after it ran away and did his own thing. Yeah, I don't think Mr. Big likes a whole lot of people mucking up his operations or a lot of outside work. More on that later in an episode I cover here. But yeah, it's a very risky plan. Using Big to use his cartridge, and by the way, it's all like NES, it's all the same like big NES looking black cartridges, even though Quirk is a Game Boy game. I don't think there was. I'm pretty sure there wasn't an NES game. Would have been cool if he got one. They're gonna zap Quirk home with the cartridge. Tyrone comes with him for whatever reason, because those two are inseparable almost most times. It's always Tyrone and Quirk, and sometimes Tyrone, when he doesn't have a basketball in him, he just fastballs Quirk, even though he doesn't really need it. Quirk can like on his own just start bouncing around and stuff like that, and we see more of that here. Tyrone's all, you didn't think I'd let you do this alone, did you, my man? Super Tomato Quirk at it again, lifting a giant block out of his way. Like, just almost like, whenever Tammy's in danger, I get powered up. But he starts turning, like, he gets like a red outline. I'm like, oh my god, he's the Kaioken almost. Quirk has mastered ultra autonomous instinct. He's amazing. He's also able to leap tall puzzle pieces in a single bound. He's Super Tomato. Seriously, like this guy's the pinch hitter. I'm like, no wonder the power team needs to get him back, guys. But yeah, they save Tammy and get back in time to help Tyrone from getting zapped back to his game world. Because once again, I think he tries for the to hit Big with a basketball, and it gets popped once again. So he always has that. It's that same cigar too. He always has that lying around. It's like a big, like, I don't know. It's like a big black device or something like that just pops a basketball like a balloon. I'm like, what is that thing? What is that? What is that made of? And how is Big lifting it? Well, video game characters, I don't. Maybe they could ignore like stuff like that. Maybe that explains why Quirk is so like all over the place. Maybe some feats of strength or something. But yeah, Mr. Big's in there too. I forgot. By the way, like they do a thing where they're like Mr. Big's head to the dump and like out of the cartridge. He reaches in and grabs him and pulls him in. And he's about to zap Tyrone while in the game world of Quirk. I'm like, is that possible? You would be like a cartridge within a cartridge? That'd be something weird to cartridgeception. So yeah, they save the day in Tamu, but Big still leaves with the cartridge, so Johnny Live Action continues his World Series week with a review of Little League Baseball. That one I don't recall. But it's for the NES and a few tips for Super Mario Brothers 3. Yeah, that era of Mario, which I'm guilty of too. I'm also guilty of a couple years later on where, we're only maybe like a few years away from Ryu. Episode 13, Tunnel Radish. A farmer's talking about how whole rows of vegetables in fields are disappearing. Quirk suspects it's the work of rotten, rotty radish. Some extraterrestrial hunter named Dr. Franklin Green believes the cause to be of an alien invasion and gets into trouble and runs afoul of the farmer and our heroes time and time again and trying to keep his crops. But Franklin's the first to meet Roddy Radish, and he looks like this. Enjoy this nightmare for the rest of the... Apparently he can channel the sun's rays because his hair glows and then it goes down to his body to his finger and he can do Zappu shit. I'm like, oh. He's about to zap Franklin, and when their heroes come in, Max forces shield just out of nowhere, Randy Orton style. Just pew. He's got another vegetable person with him. I guess it's his... I don't know if it's second command is heavy or the Harley to his Joker or whatever. Patricia. What was it? I have it here. Parsnip. Okay. I've never seen a parsnip before. She's like a little green hair with pinkish purple. But yeah, Patricia Parsnip. She's just eating carrots and Roddy's got the whole field wired to shoot vegetables at the power too. They just show up and a turret comes out and starts shooting carrots. Oh, we're back on the crackheadedness here. So they gotta worry about that and chase them off. Also, while the team has gotta keep the farmer and doctor from killing one another. This poor farmer is losing more than his crops. He's losing his mind and not reaping any of the benefits. So why are the talking vegetables out eating normal vegetables? They say with the power they get from eating these veggies, they'll get to go home. I'm like, shouldn't they talk to the guy with the cartridge? But I don't know. It's a way to get Quirk, I guess, an adversary. So we're only missing Tyrone. I don't know if there's an episode or not later on where he goes back to his world and has to deal with maybe because I feel like Mohawk from Art Travels has a very rival energy to Tyrone. But yeah, they probably can do all the crazy stuff Quirk can do, so I guess it's like an evil Quirk or something like that. Power Team follows Roddy down and chases them off with this weirdly timed intervention of some hay bales by Dr. Franklin. Patricia's sweet on Quirk as well. She blows a kiss and he gets excited. I'm like, that two-timing tomato taking Tammy for granted? Taking Tammy. Taka. So yeah, episode 11, okay. Don't run away from home, maybe a message, but they didn't really do it. It's not super heavy-handed with it. Episode 12, okay, the crack's starting to take again. This episode... Do you snort crack? It's crack okay. Sorry, every time I think of crack, I just you smoke crack, don't you, boy? Lean on me. Look at me, boy. You smoke crack, don't you? Don't you? The farmer has fucking had it, though. There's tunnels in his garden where all this is going on, this battle, and he's just he's had enough, and he starts chasing off everybody with his pitchfork. No one is safe. Live Action Johnny with a review for Tommy Lasorda baseball for the Genesis. No Echo Mic this time, as well as a preview of LJN's best game of all time for the NES, The Punisher. That game rules. Episode 14, Rigged Deal. Mr. Big and his goons take over an oil rig, and there is more than one person actually staffed at it. So, hey, progress. So we got our energy now. Joe Rockhead with a crane just shoving off workers left and right, and one worker he shows off his own freakish display of strength, Joe Rockhead, by, there's a chopper trying to get away, and Big's like, I'm gonna blast it, you get away from that. And Spike's like, no, you're gonna blow up the oil rig, what are you thinking? And Joe's like, I'll get him. So the worker takes off in the helicopter, he grabs this anchor and just whoosh, ting, and pulls him back. Back on the oil rig, and then just shoves him off as well. That's what we need to say. Joe versus Quirk, the irresistible force meets the unmovable object. So the power team is splitting up with Max, Bigfoot, and Quirk on a boat as Kiros and Tyrone, who the latter can't swim, and isn't one to tell about it because the others might laugh at him for it. Kiros is like, no, we'd never do something like that. We would have understood. Come on. Maybe Kira's learned from last week to be more mindful of others. So, again, I thought they were going to do like a special. Again, I keep thinking they're going to do like morality and stuff like that, or like morals, kind of heavy-handed type of stuff. But no, they just, again, the breakneck speed, I think, prevents them from like going that route. Like your PSA, it's like, hey kids, could save a person's life. Well, not a lot of people don't know how to swim. I've never learned how to swim myself. So, but Tyrone's like, man, he's like holding on the basketball as a flotation device, which I'm not sure that's how that works. But again, cartoon logic. But that's what he's got. He's holding the basketball as he's moving along. He's got like floaty or whatever. He's like, this thing is the only thing holding me up because I can't swim. And Kira's like, dude, Kira's like swimming back. He's like, I would have understood. I got you. So Kira and Tyrone are the first to arrive on the boat and have their hands full with Big lighting up what looks like actual missiles that are drills for what I assume get the oil. And those drill part, they're like using them to try and take down Kira and Tyrone. So yeah, Spike warned earlier of the rig blowing up, but now all of a sudden it's just Big sending drills into the ship itself, making holes in the top of the ship. I'm like, what are you doing, you madman? Then the rest of the power team arrive and chase the baddies off. But yeah, I was so blown away by like all those. Usually cartoons have like the lasers. They don't do like the actual weapons. I don't know if like oil rig shoots like has this like it's like this missile launcher, but with like drill parts on the end of it. So to shoot them down at Tyrone and Kira, and they're trying to fight them off. Then the rest of the team arrives and they win the day. Live action Johnny with world class baseball for the TurboGrafx 16, and when going over to the Power Team segment, he's at the very beginning. It always starts with him doing like talking about here's what you can expect on the show, and then we're gonna do the power thing, and then usually it's like a quick. Usually he starts with like one review as well of a game. And it's like, hey, let's head over to the power team and get all that done. And then we'll come back and talk about the rest of the stuff I wanted to talk about. But yeah, he calls it Millville in this one. Maybe I was wrong with Millview and it was Millville or Millburg. I'm still undecided on that. And quickly shows off, he calls it the double player wireless controller because it's like, oh, these wires are everywhere. There's got to be a better way. And just go wireless. He doesn't say what system it's for, though. Double player wireless. And I looked for a last controller, and I couldn't find it. Like double player wireless controller. Another preview of the puzzle game that's extremely challenging that even Johnny is sure to mention more than once. It's like, hey, this game's challenging. Pipe Dreams for the NES. That's a tough one. But yeah, stuff is still the weakest segment because you just like there's show, but there's also the tell aspect too, and like show us like that's just what Donnie's getting sometimes. But again, he's improved. Maybe baseball's like his thing or something like that. He wanted, or the World Series was going on at the time that these shows actually showed up and decided, okay, or he just wanted to do a theme week. I don't know. But the best episode by far of this week is episode 15, Crisscross Double Cross. This sounded like it was going to be some tropey body mind swap episode, but no. Whew. Our power team with Johnny comes out of this museum having checked out all the paintings there. Max Force says, those are some beautiful paintings, Johnny tells Max. And Max is like, yeah, they're beautiful, all right. And priceless as well. So the team stakes out, waiting for Mr. Big, thinking they're going to steal for the paintings. So they're staking out. It turns to night. There's a garbage truck that drives by. They see lights going. I was like, oh. But it's the headlights of a garbage truck moving on. Big and his men successfully try to heist a painting. They swipe it. The alarm sounds and the battle begins. But while the team's waiting around, I noticed Tyrone playing some wall ball with his basketball. When the alarms go off, he turns away and face full of b-ball. I thought at first that was going to be like the thing that causes Tyrone to, with no explanation. I was like, hey, give me that cigar, Mr. Big. I'm going to start firing at the rest of the power team. And gets the painting and drives off with Big and his crew. He's all Being a hero don't pay. I want a portion of all the capers you pull. In return, I'll zap the power team back to their game worlds. I'll help you with that. Big tells Tyrone, stay here and lay low, and we'll come back and meet you when we're ready to zap them. While Tyrone's away, Big tells Spike and Joe, once we zap the power team, we're gonna zap Tyrone to his own game world too. And at the apartment, Tyrone's like, okay, it's me, I'm in. Big bought it, he'll bring the game packs. Yeah, they're calling them game packs now, not cartridges, I noticed that. But yeah, he's like, he'll bring the game packs, we'll be right there to snatch them back. By the way, the painting he stole, I got this curator undercover. This guy in a trench coat, he just walks out and it's the museum, I guess it's the museum curator. He's got the real one. I got a fake painting. He's sent the curator back to the museum with the real thing. Crisscross, double cross, like, oh man. So next day, Tyrone leads the baddies into an empty warehouse in Big Zaw. I smell an ambush. All right, power team, come on out. Tyrone's like, you don't trust me, do you? I'd test you to ensure you wouldn't just zap me too when I led you to him for real, is his argument. And Big's like, okay, maybe I was testing you too. Lead me to him. They leave the warehouse and bam, the power team hits him hard and fast. And get most of the game packs back. Johnny starts, so they get some of the game packs. And Johnny like, okay, I can start this in my, it's weird because it's like a computer game pack, which I don't think is he's got his like little crime computer. Boots went in, and it's Mr. Big on the TV screen. It's like, you didn't think I'd carry the real game packs with me. If you're watching this, Tyrone was jiving me, and that game continues. So it's a stalemate. So, ultimately, I'm like, whew. We got the crackheaded energy, and then, like, the paranoia sets in for, like, whose side is he on? Like, when I first heard, I thought the ball was, like, such a throwaway gag, and then he's, like, turning heel. I'm like, wait, let me roll back. Let's talk about that. Like, is that the cause of, like, him just thinking he's a villain now? I'm like, where is this coming from? But no, it was out of nowhere, just a weird double-cross thing. I'm like, damn, that's something else. And then we go to the live-action Johnny's final day of the World Series week. We got a more humorous one with something called Bad News Baseball for the NES. And the Game Boy version of Bliss is loaded, saying, pitchers are key, and it's one of those few baseball games where, you play baseball games, your perspective is always behind the person who bats, whether it's you or the computer. Not this one. It's always behind you, whether you're pitching or batting. It's always behind the player. I guess that's a way to, because how you do multiplayers, like do the dual link and stuff like that, so the second player would probably be like doing it that way, so maybe they design it for that. But still, it's not something I'm used to seeing in a baseball game. Usually it's like, of the few I played and was like horrible at. So yeah, I just thought that was a little interesting. The fact that he pointed that out too. I'm like, oh, nice. So yeah, a little bit of a power on for Johnny. I gotta give kudos. I gotta give him some respect. I might actually be looking forward to next week, and he wasn't super cringy. Like he kind of left there's some like joke here or there, but he usually leaves like the weird impressions at home or whatever. It's like he looked back at his old footage and it's like, okay, I gotta step this up. Or somebody looked at it and told him like, hey, you need to. Anyway, our power off segment goes to there's like 3 kids bullying him, and then later when Johnny is out looking for Jennifer with the power team, 2 of the 3 kids are by themselves. Like they don't have like the ringleader bully named Billy or whatever his name was bullying Jennifer just for being a little different. That fucking prick. Like, again, we don't see him again because Johnny, after he tells him off in Billy's complete dickishness in full effect with the, hey, I was just joking. And Johnny's like, then say you're sorry. He apologizes with a tone of not being sorry, but just getting caught. Like, Johnny was like, that tone of Johnny, like, he was this close to just throwing hands. Like, he's going to pop this. I popped him like a pimple. Power on, the best moment, is just, again, Court continuing to be the pinch hitter for the power team of having more and more feats of super strength. And the Joe Rockhead thing that I mentioned. Yeah, those are the big ones. The crackheadiest is just Rotten Roddy Radish existing. Honorable mention in the same episode has Tyrone explain to the doctor that Quirk and those other baddie veggies, they're not aliens. They're from a video game. And the doctor's like, that doesn't make any sense. Tyrone replies, no, it doesn't. But the important thing is, we won. Or something along those lines. That's not exact. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically like, that shit don't matter. We won. I'm like, yeah, all right. That's the good. Like, it's in keeping with the pace of the show. That's what I. Yeah, that's what I expected. Oh, the commercialist still going strong with the Tiger Electronics. Like, that's gonna be every video, and then they're running. I see a lot of the same commercials, like that one, the Hawaiian Punch. I've been seeing I'm seeing this 1-900 helpful hints for all these Nintendo games. The commercial says it's Nintendo specifically. Like, it doesn't say for all your Nintendo games. It's like Genesis or anything like that. I don't know, but another cartoon debut commercial. I saw it once get played, and it's like, coming soon to the Fox Kids. It's a commercial for they're gonna debut Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates, mostly remembered for just having the legendary Tim Curry as the best non-Disney Captain Hook. I think being at I don't know what their time period for the recording was, but for me, like I said, it was like 6 a.m. for me. So back then it was around that time. That still might be the case nowadays. I don't watch a lot of TV, but network TV would usually run network ads or this just this whole 15-30 minute commercial for maybe shampoo products and stuff like that. So tell me how this works, early QVC, before QVC was even a thing, before cable. It was the those kind of segments. So there's a lot of hey, you can get started now. So in between all these commercials targeted as kids, there's just Red Wing Technical College. Every commercial, and it's always starts off with fixing this accordion. I'm like, I don't get it, but why the accordion? What else does well, it's a technical college, so I guess that's shop and repair and stuff like that. Plus, more and more of a commercial for another game from Mindscape, based off of the movie Days of Thunder. Just search Urinating True Days of Thunder on YouTube for a quick review on why that game is utter trash. But yeah, other commercials here and there. That just shocked me. It only showed it the one time, but Peter Pan and the Pirates. I remember that being an NES game. And that's all I remember of it. It probably wasn't very good. I think it was THQ, maybe. I think it was early THQ. Was kind of They hit their stride helping out Ukes and stuff like that with all the SmackDown versus Raw stuffs. But early THQ, ooh. Caveat emptor. So yeah, that's the review. Join me tomorrow when I cover episodes Video Power 16 through 20. With that said, take care, and thanks for listening.